A very good afternoon to you. Glad you could join me on Citizen Weekend this Sunday afternoon. My name is Olive Burrows and these are the news highlights. Police officer killed, several injured as land row in Ngong turns violent. Kaya Fungo elders oppose installation of Chirao Ali Mwakwere as the Mijikenda spokesperson. President William Ruto attends church in Narok on the last Sunday of the year. One police officer has died from injuries sustained in a land row in Kibiko, Kajiado West sub-county. The officer was among several officers injured by a group of rowdy youth who ambushed them on Christmas Day when providing security to surveyors erecting beacons on the prime land. Several civilians were injured and 2 motorcycles burnt in the ongoing communal land subdivision standoff. The youth, armed with arrows, spears and other crude weapons, are said to be working in cahoots with a section of local leaders opposed to the land subdivision. The bone of contention has been the subdivision of the 2,800 acres worth 100 billion shillings, with the leadership wrangles putting 2 rival groups against each other for years. Kajiado County Commander Alex Shikondi has warned individuals fueling the violence.
This is our certificate of incorporation. Yes. And I challenge them to produce theirs. This is a court ruling in Kajiado that said we are mandated to subdivide this land. This is a Kenya Gazette. Kenya Gazette notice that said we are the trustees. The one they got irregularly is revoked here. Those are people who do not have any legal entity to be in this land.
A poll shows that President William Ruto's popularity has increased from 21% in August this year to 28% in December. The Infotrak poll shows that President Ruto is the most preferred presidential candidate, followed by the former Interior Cabinet Secretary Dr. Fred Matiang'i. Wiper leader Kalonzo Musyoka and the Embakasi East lawmaker Babu Owino follow. According to the poll released today, 46% of Kenyans will consider the cost of living while going to vote in the ballot in the 2027 polls, while 27% will look at the fight against corruption. Others will consider provision of health services, education and youth employment. In the poll, 31% of Kenyans do not trust that IEBC will deliver a credible election, while only 8% of Kenyans have confidence in the electoral body. President William Ruto is currently attending an interdenominational church service celebrating the 20th anniversary of the National Church Council in Rotian, Narok County. The head of state, who has been accompanied by a host of ODM leaders led by the party's national chair, Gladys Wanga, is expected in Homa Bay later today as a chief guest of the Genoa Governor's Cup. The Narok church service is being presided over by Bishop Simon Ole Simpai. Let's listen in.
Ndio nimewakataza kwanza maneno ya watoto ya shule wawajane naye. Waendelee na fitina nyingine, lakini ya watoto wa shule we don't want. Ama namna gani jameni? So mimi sitaki kusema kuzidi hapo. Sitaki kusema sana kwa sababu leo tuko kanisani. Bishop anaweza kutukosoa. Lakini sitaenda sana, nitakuwa hapa tena kwa sababu tuko na kazi zingine ambazo tutakujia hapa Narok. Sio namna hiyo. Bado nimeketi chini na hawa viongozi. Senator Ledama amesema watu wa Narok ni watu wa bidii. Shida wako naye ni barabara. Si ni kweli? Na nimeweka mpango kamili kwa sababu mimi naelewa ya kwamba tunahitaji barabara zaidi Kenya. Ndio mulisikia nikatangaza kwa State of the Nation Address. Nikasema tunahitaji kujenga barabara kilomita 28,000 mpya Kenya. Na sio tu kujenga, pia nikatoa vile tutajenga hiyo barabara na mahali gani pesa tutatoa ya kujenga hiyo barabara. Na ndio tumeanzisha National Infrastructure Fund. Tumeanzisha Sovereign Wealth Fund ambayo itatusaidia kukusanya pesa kutoka budget, kutoka privatization, kutoka private sector, kutoka public private partnerships ambayo itatusaidia kujenga mabarabara hizo. That is how we are going to move Kenya from a third world to a first world country. Wale wanapingana na mimi ati first world haiwezekani, watuambie mpango yao ni gani. Nilisikia mwingine juzi anasema ati hatutaki mambo ya Singapore, hatutaki mambo ya Korea, ati heri Somalia. Sasa mimi nauliza kweli hiyo? Anyway, tafadhali muwaombee hawa watu, nahitaji maombi. Asante Biblia, asante Bishop kwa kunipatia Biblia. Biblia mimi nahitaji hiyo Biblia kabisa kwa sababu so ndugu zangu watu wa CCI, mimi nimefurahi sana kuwa kati yenu. Na CCI iko na uhusiano mkubwa na AIC mahali kanisa nimelelewa. Nimeona vile mnaimba ni vile tunaimba huko AIC. Sitaki kusema ilitokea maneno gani ikakuwa sisi. Lakini AIC na CCI ni mapacha, si ndio? So nasema asante sana kwa kutukaribisha, nawatakia heri na tunawatakia baraka ya Mungu. Mimi nimetembea na members ya family yangu, watoto wangu wako hapa, wasimame. Najua saa zingine unaweza kutembea watu wanaona tu. Huyo mfupi huyo ndio mjana wa kwanza, anaitwa June. Huyo kijana mrefu huyo anaitwa George. Na huyo George ni rubani na pia anafanya maneno hapo. Na huyo Nicholas ni wakili, pia anashughulika na mambo yake. Na hivyo asanteni sana. Mimi nawatakia heri na nawatakia baraka ya Mungu. Thank you very much.
A section of Kaya Fungo elders have opposed the installation of the former Matuga Member of Parliament, Chirao Ali Mwakwere, as the Mijikenda spokesperson. The elders, drawn from Kaya Fungo, say they were not consulted and insist the installation did not follow Mijikenda traditional processes. Led by Sumanzai, the elders have issued a 14-day ultimatum to Mwakwere and those involved in his installation to apologize to the Mijikenda community. They allege the move is politically motivated and risks selling out the interests of the Mijikenda people.
Nini haya masuala ya umoja wa Mijikenda ambao mnazungumzia? Mbona hamshirikishi viongozi wote waliteuliwa? Hapo kuna njama fiche, na tulijua kwamba kuna njama fiche. Si masuala ya umoja wa Mijikenda, ilikuwa ni masuala ya kisiasa. Msimu wa siasa uko karibu, wamekuja na mbinu mpya wauze Mijikenda. Na jana ilidhihirika kwamba nilikuwa ni mbinu ya kuuza Mijikenda.
Kwa kusema kweli haukuwa katika njia ambayo iko katika mpangilio wa Mijikenda, kwa sababu usemaji wa Mijikenda unaenda kulingana na makaya 9. Kwa sababu hakuna kaya linaweza likatoa mtu aweze kulisemea, kwa sababu hizi kaya ziko kila kaya iko na desturi yake, isipokuwa mila ni moja ya Mijikenda. Kwa hivyo yale ambayo yalifanyika, yule bado tunamtambua kama msemaji wa Wadigo.
Ni kwa nini kila ikifika wakati wa siasa iko karibu ndio mnaitisha umoja wa Mijikenda? Na waomba tafadhalini tuheshimu makaya yetu na wazee wetu ili tupate amani katika maisha yetu.
Shughuli iliyotendeka jana ya kumwapisha Mwafulani sisi hatuitambui wala hatuiungi mkono. Sisi wazee wa makaya, sisi hatuna chama. Shughuli iliyofanyika jana ilikuwa ni chama cha Mwakwere Association.
A family in Isiolo is asking for answers following the abduction of a senior National Police reservist, Malele Abdi Hassan, whose whereabouts remain unknown over a week later. Malele, who headed NPR operations in Bureti location, was reportedly taken on December the 20th while riding home on a motorcycle. Witnesses say 3 masked men forced him into the boot of a private car and drove off. Clan leaders say the family is living in fear and are questioning why police later collected Malele's official firearm despite denying involvement. Malele is a father of 9 and community leaders are calling on authorities to urgently investigate and disclose his whereabouts.
And why?
Malele ni mtu anasomesha watoto university, secondary, watoto dunia mzima kona. Tafadhali tunaomba. Sisi kama wamama tunalia, Malele Abdi Hassan arudishwe kwake.
So he didn't get any threats from anyone. So that was just a random arrest that we are aware of. If there was any, he could have reported.
Alikuwa na mama moja tu. Alikuwa na mbeba.
Kwa pikipiki.
Kwa bike. Na pikipiki. Wakati ambaye walimshika walienda naye alipiga kelele, lakini yeye ni mama. Hata kama alikuwa mwanaume, hakuna kitu anaweza fanya.
As Kenya approaches the 2027 general election, Gusii Women in Leadership Network has called on the Gusii community to embrace women aspiring to take up various positions as a way to empower them. Speaking in Kisii during the annual meeting, which incorporated part of the community's Council of Elders and founders of the network, also called upon the community, especially women, to interrogate the debate surrounding a proposed referendum come 2027 in order to make an informed decision. They also called for concerted efforts to deal with gender-based violence, teen pregnancy, and HIV among teens.
That is something. I managed.
A lot of things happening, even calls for a referendum, calls for all that. I think for Gusii Women Leadership, we are just saying, take your time to learn more on what they're saying. If they're throwing around the gender card, like the referendum has the gender agenda in it, but have we gone through the document to see what is in it? So ignorance is not an excuse. All the platform is for us to continue to learn, continue to be informed, continue to work together, continue to hold men and women in this journey of development.
Girls have shown they have the ability to do even better later in life. We have followed our students from high school into universities, and we are proud when we see them leading serious departments like medical school, law school.
We have elected. You vote. They come with ballot. They vote for us so that you can be a leader there. So from there, as we address those women down there at the market, because that's where I will talk and that's where I come from, we have now we can stand the way I've stood now to talk to the audience.
And our people to come back to our heritage where even land was given to the women, not the men. We need to come back to our culture, which supported women.
Police in Bureti, Kibiko County, are probing an incident in which locals attacked a local bar, causing damage to property after a man was found dead outside the Sade Entertainment joint. It is alleged the deceased, Wesley Tanui, spent the whole of the afternoon on the 25th drinking at Digital Bar. The following day, his body was discovered outside the joint, raising tension and questions on what transpired. The locals took to the streets and vandalized property of the Sade Bar. It took police intervention to restore calm.
Tutasa tena, watoto tumesa, lakini tunalia sana kwa maana tumepoteza. Mama yake analia sana, tena amepoteza ingine. Sasa hii amekuwa uchungu sana. Tunalalamika sana. Tunataka ipombe aondowe. Ipombe afungwe kabisa.
Pata jana ni uchungu sana tupoteze brata yetu. Blanket ni senda kidogo lakini paa ni karibu 10. Watu wafungue kitu ingine. Paa tutaki tena kwa blanket.
Murkomen uko wapi? Kuja blanket tutusaidie. Tunataka ipa zote zifungwe. Hatutaki tena.
Tumepoteza watu karibu 6.
hata mwaka moja haijaisha, juzi tulipoteza mtu mwingine, na jana Boxing Day tulilia tena. So pombe, tumeona hasara ya pombe.
The government has been urged to extend the vulnerable and indigent health program that is being undertaken in marginalized areas to other parts of the country. Speaking at Esishiru, Kakamega County, during a free medical camp, the chair of the Rural and Urban Private Hospitals Association of Kenya, RUPA, and that is Brian Lishenga, said that it will ensure vulnerable communities are better served under SHA. Hundreds of patients from the rural area turned up for treatment as others used the opportunity to register for SHA. The medical camp offered free cancer screening and treatment of other common ailments.
wa mwili ya kukula chakula inaniletea shida ya kujikuna. Alafu ya pili gonjwa ya meno. Lakini nimeshughulikiwa, nimepewa kila dawa.
We are trying to do a continuous medical attention to these people in such a way that after we have done the treatment, from here also the CHVs does the follow-up.
We are urging the Ministry of Health, His Excellency President William Ruto, CS Aden Duale, extend the plan for vulnerable and indigent into the communities here. Kakamega has over 200,000 who need your support.
The permanent representative to UN Habitat, Susan Nakumicha, has urged the National Transport and Safety Authority, NTSA, in collaboration with traffic police to strengthen strategies aimed at reducing road carnage. And speaking while celebrating with residents of Cherangani, Nakumicha emphasized the importance of strict enforcement of traffic laws. She also encouraged passengers to take an active role by speaking out against drivers who violate road safety regulations, noting that such collective responsibility would help prevent avoidable tragedies.
Watu wanasafiri wengi. Hata kuna wengine hapa nimewaona na nimewahi waona Nairobi. Kumaanisha wamekuja kwa barabara. Na ninaona vijana wangu wengine hapa ambao wanaendesha bodaboda, ukweli, si ndio? Mimi nataka kuwaomba msimu hii ya Christmas, wale mnaendesha bodaboda, wale mnaendesha baiskeli, mnaendesha gari, tafadhali tudumishe usalama. Pole pole ndio mwe.
Illegal and unregulated fishing is emerging as a major threat as the shocks of climate change continue to bite. In Africa, erratic rain and the unprecedented death of livestock has pushed more people closer to water bodies, embracing fishing as a source of food and for economic sustenance. Laura Otieno now reports on the marine fishing challenges in Somaliland, where stocks of fish in the Red Sea have gone down by nearly half as more people venture out to sea.
The wind sweeps across the Gulf of Aden. At dawn, boats drift back to the shore, ferrying fishermen who spent the night out at sea. Some of the vessels floating here bear the mark of the saline waters of the Red Sea. The breaking sweat, the scorching sun, and the stagnant heat barely tells of the stress that fisherfolk at Berbera in Somaliland have endured due to the dwindling stocks of fish.
Tuna is now the most common catch, but in the past, we used to find a variety of species. I believe climate change has played a great role in this shift.
I am among the women who head out to sea to catch fish. I provide for my 2 children with whatever the sea gives me. By God's grace, for women like us, life becomes very difficult when the fish disappear.
Somaliland is found in the Horn of Africa and receives an average annual rainfall of approximately 150 to 500 millimeters, which is significantly below the global average. This limited and erratic rainfall, which can barely support agricultural or water needs for the largely pastoral communities, worsens the region's vulnerability to drought. According to the Somaliland Drought Impact Assessment Report of 2022, the country experienced one of the most prolonged and severe droughts in its history, where 1.2 million people required urgent humanitarian assistance.
We have faced the loss of livestock, the destruction of farmland, and the migration of our youth. We urgently need a comprehensive plan to address these challenges.
The port at Berbera is an important corridor for trade. As the dry wind blows dust over any prospects of survival in the arid parts of Somaliland, thousands of families move closer to the Red Sea. Over the last 5 years, the population of Berbera has been on a steep rise. More and more people are going out to sea to fend for their families. A quest for survival.
Many of the fishermen were originally pastoralists, so they lack experience in fishing. Climate change has also had a big impact because there is no fish and more people go further where strong winds are common. With these small boats and nets, it becomes a big challenge.
According to the Egyptian Journal of Aquatic Biology and Fisheries, the Red Sea has over 1,200 species of fish and more than 200 species of corals. In 2021, the total mass of invertebrate landings such as shrimps and crabs reached 558 tons, representing a drop of nearly 45% from 2020. This decline is attributed to habitat destruction, pollution, illegal fishing, and the growing pressures of climate change.
Many people are turning to the sea despite the risks because there are limited job opportunities on land. They see fishing as an honest livelihood that allows them to support their families. So there are those challenges. And one of our biggest challenges is the lack of modern communication equipment. We also hope to receive training in modern fishing techniques.
In response to the decline, some countries in the region, such as Egypt, have implemented significant measures, including a 5-year ban on destructive fishing methods like trawling and a temporary halt to all recreational fishing as of May 2024 to allow stocks to recover. In Somaliland, the country is working with the United Nations Development Programme to not only set up cold storage facilities, but also establishing proper governance systems that will ensure sustainable exploitation of resources by the government.
Which develop the capacity of the local government to generate resources, do their planning, development planning, and implement them. The more capacity they have on local governance, transparency, accountability, the better they can respond to the climate crisis.
For now, the pressure persists. The shifting tides lay bare the long-term effects of unsustainable fishing practices. As Berbera's population swells, more and more people are drawn to sea, hoping the waters will offer survival and a refuge from the ravaging effects of drought. Laura Otieno, Citizen TV.
We take a break on a Citizen Weekend this Sunday afternoon, but on the other side, I will bring you the latest from AFCON.